What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get some work done on the 90 Civic Si. If you've never seen this car on the channel before, I haven't done a whole lot in the last 5 years, but before that I have a whole playlist of mods and updates on this car. When I used to race this one, I used to have a B20 swap that had just bolt-ons and some suspension, a little bit of aero. Used to have a front splitter. It still has the PCI wing. I'm going to work on getting some parts put back onto this car just to kind of update it and give it a little bit better mod list altogether. Currently the car has the SOC ZC. This is the engine that originally came with the car. I had pulled it out and we replaced all the gaskets, the clutch, and I sold it to a friend. He put it in his CRX and he had it in there for a couple years. I bought it back off of him when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. I just liked the engine. It was always strong. It always felt really good. Set it aside, and then I initially had sold this car about 2 years ago to a close friend. He ended up selling it back to me. I told him that if he gets a chance, if he ends up deciding to sell it, please let me know first. I'll buy it back. And he ended up using the money to buy an old pickup truck that his dad used to own. So came back to me and I decided to keep it. I sold my Tahitian green 91 Civic Si about a year, about 14 months ago, and I want to try to make this car, I guess, just a replacement of that, a little bit nicer, a little bit better than what that car was. And it's going to take a lot to get there. Obviously it needs to be repainted and just cleaned up, but we're going to start first with getting parts put back onto it. So I have a handful of things that I'd like to get installed. I can't remember if the upper control arms have urethane bushings. I think they do, but I have a spare set there. I'm going to put an Innovative Pro Series traction bar back on. We're going to put on a set of Skunk 2 rear camber kit. I can't remember the camber kit that's on there right now. It has a hard race front, but we're going to swap the fronts back with, I have a set of EX knuckles that I've had forever. And these were originally on this car until I sold it and put the DX knuckles back on. But we're going to put the Skunk 2 front camber kit back on. I like that a lot, just to pair it up with the rear. We're going to put on an OEM rear sway bar. It used to have an ST bar on here, but that one was removed when I sold the car, and we never put a stock one back on. I didn't have one at the time, honestly. I was able to get this one off of a shell that I recently parted out. Then we're going to start on some other things, maybe like these sills for the doors. I'd like to, that's a goal of mine, is to put carpet back up in here, clean up some of that wiring that I did when I did the tucked harness from Jackspania. I kept those out of the CRX just to put them in here, make it look cleaner again. Carpet, interior, JDM front, and rear seats that I kept from the Tahitian green hatch, and just have this interior looking better and cleaner and set up a little bit nicer. And then a couple things that I skipped over: Blackworks rear lower control arms. The ones on there don't have threaded holes for the sway bar. I could put a longer bolt, but I think it's nicer to just put some Blackworks on there and then put the stock bolt, have those on there. And then probably on the front, my 11-inch wheelwood kit that came off of the EG. We're going to throw that on there just as an upgrade as well. I'm going to get started on the rear parts, just because there's far less. Try to get that sway bar and the camber kit on, and the rear will be buttoned up. So I had a set of God Snow on there. That bushings still look like they're in really good shape. Just going to measure the Skunk 2s, get them set to a similar camber adjustment, and get these put on. Alright, so the back is done. Got the Blackworks BWR, lower control arms on. The sway bar fits. Looks like it might rub the exhaust a little bit there, but it's okay. Don't know if it'll make a lot of noise. We'll see. Camber kit, obviously easy install. This suspension is pretty solid still. Has the rear discs, stainless lines, Coney adjustables with. So I think these are 550s. Got a 550 spring rate on here still. That's what I was using at the track. Hard race front trailing arm bushings. Of course, a Skunk 2 now, and the BWR. So the suspension setup back here just needs a very, very thorough cleaning. When I raced this car, I didn't clean it that often. I washed it a little while ago. I'd love to get it outside and spray the entire back end in here down and just kind of clean up all the dirt and dust. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal. Solid. New bearings were on there. Had cryo-treated rotors, some Hawk pads. Still solid back here, especially as I'm not going to race it anymore. I think a lot of this just needs some tidying up and cleaning up. I'm also going to put on some different wheels for now. My set of 5 Ziggin N1R Beckett's. These have a 205/50 Falcon Hazenis, the RT615s. I'm going to throw those on just to kind of change up the look. Give the RPO ones a small break. I just want to clean the inside. Have some decals I want to apply, and then ceramic coat them. Maybe move them onto a different car. But I just want to change up the look of it for now. Let me get started on the front. Got the back parts pretty easily knocked out. Everything went on as it should. So now let's take a look at the front and get started. I think I'm gonna knock out these 2 little door sills just real quick. Just get that off the table and keep moving on to the front suspension. Just those little things been a nice difference, because it looks kind of ugly seeing all the holes there. If you're curious, these are actually from a CRX. The CRX and the hatch share the same garnish here, so they fit perfectly. Everything lines up as it should. Even the holes, I don't have anything punched in the holes yet, but I was able to salvage one of the little, it's like a little pressure clip, one that goes in there, one in the back, and then of course the 2 bolts. So it's pretty sturdy. It's a little loose in the middle, but I think it'll be just fine. So the front is now buttoned up, finished getting everything installed, and got the calipers bled. One thing that is kind of bummed out, I noticed like a little drip down here, and looks like the 40/40 valve is leaking a little bit. Always wanted to try and repair one. I still have a couple broken ones. I think I'm gonna attempt that soon. Maybe we can get these repaired. I think they're just old, and a little seal that's inside obviously starts to break down and dry out and doesn't hold any longer. So Kind of bummed about that, but everything's on. It's not hard to re-bleed the system when you get that change, but I think I'll attempt that one of these days. Not right now, everything seems to be holding for the brakes. So we'll just leave it alone, and let's get these wheels put on, and I think that's all we're gonna work on today. Here's a look at all that loose stuff it knocked off of the car. Probably a lot of the rubberized undercoating slash dirt. There's a ton right in the middle of the vehicle. A bunch here that just kind of sitting there. It looks a lot cleaner though. Obviously I knocked off some of the undercoating, which is perfectly fine. I'd like to redo it. Eventually there's a couple rub marks in here from when I probably had those 15x9s with the 245/40s on here. But it's cleaner now, a lot less loose material, dirt. Same with the back. I'm just gonna wipe it all down, leave it alone, put the wheels back on. And I adjusted the height, so hopefully I can get it kind of leveled out everywhere. Seemed a little lower on the passenger side, so we'll see if we can get that knocked down. Let's wipe it down first, and I think that'll be it for the suspension for today. A little better image of all that crap that came off the car. Got it warming up now, and get you a final walk around once I get this area cleaned up and get the hatchback moving back over here. All right guys, here's where we're at. I ended up doing a lot off camera, and I got the car looking so much cleaner now. So first off, obviously you can tell I removed my fender flares. Well, I just removed the front fender in general. I had picked up a set of fenders from a junkyard about 3 years ago, and the hatchback was really clean, so scooped them up. They've been hanging on my wall ever since, and I was finally able to put those back to use. This one fits really well, being an OEM fender. This one was aftermarket, but it still fits really nicely also. So thankfully, I have 2 fenders back on here, so when I get the car painted, it'll look really clean. I removed all of the decals that were on the quarter panel windows. I also pulled off the windshield banner. I felt like it was just too much. It was a track car, kind of, you know, you like to put decals on it, but I think didn't really care for it, kind of tacky. I removed the rear wing. I sold that about 2 weeks ago. Somebody hit me up on Instagram and sold it to that guy. And in doing that, I removed my rear hatch. I put on a spare one I have that's also blue. It's from a DX hatchback that parted out a couple years back. I saved it with the intention of potentially using it on this car one day, and I'm glad I did. It fits really nicely. It lined up really well. I put my white wing back on. I just need to take off the garnish. It's red, but it's like vinyl wrapped and it's all torn up. There was window tint on here too, but ended up cleaning all that off and just clean up the entire car. And I'm loving how it's looking. I adjusted the coilovers. I wanted to level out the suspension a little bit. I think I got it set where I like it. I may need to make a little bit more of adjustments, but right now it's okay. But I'm digging it. Car is looking sweet again. I can't wait to eventually move forward, and it'd be nice to get this car painted. I'm gonna start working on, I think, the JDM exterior next. I have the rear bumper, the tail lights, I have the front end minus the hood. I even have side skirts, and I have 88, 89 side molding. So I wanna get a lot of those put onto the car. And I may do that even with all of them being mismatched colors, just to kind of have everything ready. And that way I don't have to work on the exterior anymore. I will need to find a hood. I'm probably just gonna have to buy like a carbon fiber or something like a fiberglass hood of that nature for now. I can't seem to find OEM metal hoods, but I'm digging it. Hope you guys enjoyed checking out the video today. It's nice to get back to working on this car. After I sold the Tahitian green one, told myself I wanted to try and make this car a nice representation of a clean EF hatch, EF hatch SI again. That way I can use a lot of the parts that were from that car and just try to continue to build on this one. I think paint will really push it over the top and make this car equally nice with that JDM front end. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna work on next. Probably jump to another car, skip to something else, and I'll see you guys soon. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. I've been trying to get out here and make some more videos again lately, and hope you guys continue following along. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.